Donald Trump is going to pump Bitcoin in 2026. This is something that a lot of people are starting to realize, especially with what he has been saying. Let's take a look at some Bitcoin news today, go over what is actually happening in the markets, and why I think 2026 is going to be a big year for Bitcoin, obviously thanks to Donald Trump. Now, this isn't a channel about politics. The channel is Bitcoin to 1 million, where we go over what is happening with Bitcoin on a daily basis, and we basically document the journey, go through it together of Bitcoin hitting $1 million. Now, this is something I genuinely do believe in. For context, Bitcoin is my largest holding. I've been in Bitcoin for since 2021, or was it 2022? One of the two. But it is easily, in my opinion, the easiest investment to make right now, especially when you take into account what is going on in the world with finance and all that type of stuff. So on this channel, we basically cover everything. This is the channel to kind of convince people, hey, listen, like there's this thing called Bitcoin. You should still buy it, even if it's like $100,000, right? Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin today is actually down 1.5%. It's at $88,700, so a bit of a discount. You're doing an easy 10x here when Bitcoin hits $1 million, which again, I do firmly believe will happen. Okay, now in the past week, guys, we could see Bitcoin is down 3%, and in the past month as well, we could see it's down 7.5%. And we can see there's a bunch of Bart Simpson heads, which is pretty funny. I saw a tweet about that the other day, which, yeah, anyways. Now, El Salvador holds 7,500 Bitcoin worth 667 million. Now, for those that don't know, El Salvador has consistently been buying one Bitcoin every single day for the longest time, and they buy multiple Bitcoin during like certain days. I believe they started off with a huge buy, and they've just been stacking every single day. I remember when there was a huge dip recently, I believe they bought 100 or something like that. I could be wrong, but they've been consistently buying. And guys, El Salvador, a country that when you I guess put them in the rankings of how rich they are as a country with GDP and just total net worth, obviously on the lower end compared to massive countries like China, Russia, the US, Canada, I guess, England, etc., etc. So with that being said, seeing El Salvador stack this much Bitcoin, it's going to be very interesting in a couple of years when El Salvador has one of the craziest balance sheets out there, and they have some of the like an insane amount of reserves in just Bitcoin, right? It is going to be cool to see, and I am expecting there to be a huge, I guess, shift because it's not just El Salvador. There's a couple other countries that are, maybe not on the wealthier side, but I do think we'll get there just because of Bitcoin. So very cool to see, and it's something that a lot of people are ignoring. Okay, now this is a very interesting statistic. Bitcoin now has as many users as the internet did in 1997. So for those that were around in 1997, I wasn't even born yet, but if you were around in 1997, ask yourself, how many people cared about the internet or used the internet? Well, the answer is pretty much no one, right? It was very early. In fact, the internet back then, it was like dial-up, I'm pretty sure. From what I do understand, though, 130 million users are now using Bitcoin, which is insane considering now pretty much everyone uses the internet. So imagine what's going to happen when pretty much everyone is using Bitcoin in, let's call it 20 years, right? Again, this is what people are missing out on. People are not looking at the broader picture. Think about it, guys. Literally just 5 years ago, people weren't really talking about crypto or using crypto. Now you have full on countries, corporations, companies, so many people buying Bitcoin and crypto. So you got to look at this and go, you know what? You're still early because, again, only as many users as the internet did in 1997. Okay, now this week as well, guys, was massive for Bitcoin. If you guys missed out on a bunch of this news, I definitely will say subscribe to the channel down below because we covered a lot of this stuff. So guys, this is the daily channel where I'm literally making these videos every single day. Fresh news, fresh insights, and yes, it's the place to be. But more or less, guys, this week, Saylor met with sovereign wealth funds in New York and in the UAE, or I believe in Saudi Arabia, to discuss Bitcoin. The BlackRock CEO said Bitcoin is not a trade; you hold it for a purpose. SpaceX is Elon Musk's company is prepping for a 1.5 trillion dollar IPO, and they IPO, sorry, not IPU, IPO, and they actually hold 4,000 plus Bitcoin, which is very bullish. That's going to be another publicly traded company that is holding a massive amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Bank of America will also issue Bitcoin backed credit. Okay, so pretty big week for Bitcoin, guys. Moving on. I want to share this. So this is pretty funny. Bitcoin now only has a 19% chance to reclaim $100,000 by the end of the year. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I don't think we're gonna have $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for there to be a Christmas miracle, but I just don't see it happening. Now let's talk about Mr. Trump here. So Donald Trump just demanded that interest rates drop to 1% or lower by next year. The US should have the lowest rates in the world. This would shock the stock and crypto market. And guys, 100%, if this was to actually happen, Donald Trump would literally be saving crypto, would literally be saving the markets, because guys, when you have lower interest, kind of like what we saw during the COVID pandemic, you have all assets just going to the freaking moon, right? I mean, in 2021, you could have literally put your money in anything and made money because of low interest rates and obviously a bunch of new liquidity coming into the markets. Now, if we do see less than 1% or 1% interest rates next year, best believe we're going to have a crazy bull run. Now, Michael Saylor also just posted this, back to more orange dots, hinting that he might be buying more Bitcoin. Usually, I believe it's Monday that they actually announce Bitcoin buy. So it looks like Monday we will be, or tomorrow, we are going to get some news and we'll see what Saylor has done. And finally, guys, I want to share this tweet once and for all because we kind of touched on it yesterday. But prediction: Bitcoin will flip gold, and this is CZ, the older CEO of Binance. He says, "I don't." Whoops. He says, "I don't know exactly when. Might take some time, but it will happen." Save the tweet. And guys, I definitely do think that it could happen. We can see. I'll move myself. Bitcoin is right here at ninth. What? Sorry, no, I can't read. At eighth on the list, and I do think it will get up to the top three, and then eventually overtake gold. But guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.